WF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish out. Bright future we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions. Fan cams bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when Eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Yo, yo, yo. Yes, people, welcome back to Eagle-Eyed Football, and this is the match reaction for Crystal Palace 0, Manchester United 0. Oh, what a game. Obviously, I am joined here with Rich. He may or may not be on the phone because he may or may not be allowed to be on this stream by the missus, so he's gonna...
Behave yourself. I might be moving around a bit, but I did explain during my watch along actually that I've been taking the piss.
You can't swear 1 minute into the things. We can't monetize this now.
I mean,
waste, man.
P is not too bad, isn't it?
P? I don't know. I just know it's the 5 minute rule potentially. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
To be fair, I've been violating. Like, when you think about it, out all day yesterday, did the watch along this morning, watched the Man City Arsenal.
And then guess you know what's even more of a violation? Saturday next week.
Oh, I've been called. 1 second.
Anyway, as we said, doghouse settings. But we are here to talk about Man United versus Palace and 0-0. A point against Man United is never a bad point, let's be real. I think seeing how we played, how Man United played, we could tell that compared to last season, that we're definitely a worse team than we was last season. And you could also tell that with how they are, they're a lot better of a team than they were last season as well. So, you know, us being worse, them being much better, you know, sort of balanced out and then made it into a pretty okay game. Obviously, the score looked like it was an awful game, but to be fair to everyone that watched, it wasn't actually that boring of a game, bearing in mind it was 0-0. Let's go into the comments real quick. Big up Mitch, met up with him after the game. Not a good weekend for our goal scorers. 0-0 in the men's team, 4-0 loss in the women's team, 6-0 in the under-18s. I don't think it's anything to worry about. I think the women's team in the WSL, I think it's just a time to enjoy them being in the league, try and learn new tactics, learn what it's like to be in that league, and hopefully they can get a foothold in there and, you know, fight to stay in the league for another go at next season. Big up Tristan saying love in the background. Cheers, mate. We'll be dropping the link later, so if you want to stick around for that. Big up everyone. Good CJC and Rich. Michael Oliver was a violation in that Man City versus Arsenal game. Obviously, both of us are not fans of these teams, but I think there should have been a few more yellow cards and potentially some red cards, depending on how you're looking at certain challenges and certain things. I turned off at 1-1. I just got bored of it because my stream kept pausing. So aggregate, we are 10-0 this weekend as Crystal Palace as a football club. Just rewatching the match, and I'm skipping the first half. You skip the first 44 minutes. You don't skip the first half completely. The last minute and the 1 minute of extra time was actually all right. Yeah, it wasn't really that bad watch at all. Now, Everton match last season, those were torture. Eze should have smashed it into the left. And we will speak about this in a moment, if I'm honest. So, first half, Rich. Why was it so dead?
Apologies, Nala needed help with her homework. She did maths. Why was it so dead? We couldn't pass the ball for starters. We couldn't keep the ball. And fair play to United. they played through. If we had a press, they played through it. If we had a mid block, they played through it. And if we had a low block, they played through it. You know, they played well. I mean, it's easy to say that we were bad, you know. But when I looked back at it, I was like, you know, sometimes you just got to give the, and I don't like doing it, but you just have to give the opposition credit. They played well, and we couldn't cope at all. Granted, obviously, it made it easier with the fact that obviously Wharton and Doucouré, it doesn't work, you know. So that's made things easier for them as well. But even when we did get the ball, we couldn't even find our own teammate. The only time we could make a successful pass is whenever we passed back to Dean Henderson, because every pass was backwards. I think the one time Nketiah got the football.
And then when you pass back to Henderson, he'll kick it out.
And we lose the ball again. But the one time Nketiah got the ball, because he literally was so isolated for 44 minutes. I mean, there was a comment that said he was lazy. I wouldn't call it lazy. I just think he struggled to get into the game, you know. And that happens in football. But the one time he did, we created a chance from it, you know. And then the one time in the second half, he created a chance from that too, you know, and then got hooked. So you just got to give credit to the opposition sometimes, you know.
Yeah, I think that one thing that I said to you, I think in the first game we saw Nketiah, I said I don't like him in this number 10 role. I think that he's too much of a natural striker, that when he's not thinking and when you're moving about instinctively in the game where you should be keeping your position, he's just coming more and more central and just leaving Munoz more and more isolated out on that right-hand side. And I don't think it's good for either of those two players, because you're playing Nketiah out of position and you're leaving Munoz out to dry a little bit, really. Do you think that we're going to keep persevering and Glasner's going to try and teach him that kind of different positioning? Or do you think that maybe you do what we were talking about? Maybe you hook Mateta for a few games, give him a proper rest, as he never really got to rest after the Olympics, and play Sarr, who changed the game for us in the second half.
Yeah, I would hope that we make the change, to be honest. I think even if it keeps Eddie on the right-hand side, I think it worked better with Sarr. I genuinely think Mateta's tired. Like, just even getting on side, he wasn't doing it, you know. And normally he makes runs to stretch the pitch. I think he made one run towards the first half. Richards kicked it off the pitch, and then he stopped making runs. It's almost like he said to himself, "What's the point?"
Mm-hmm.
You know, and not in a "what's the point" of because I don't care about the team, but trust me, I know as a striker, if you make that run and you're thinking, "Oh, that's a dead pass," and then you keep making that run, you're gonna get frustrated. You know, which is, it's a shame, because obviously to the back end of last season, he was making that run time and time again. He was getting found time and time again, and it helped stretch the pitch and gave our midfield more time on the ball. But yeah, I think a change will be good. Whether Glasner will do it is another matter, because he's been very persistent with Kamada going into midfield, so I think he will persist with Eddie on the right.
Mm-hmm. Well, talk about Daichi Kamada. Kamada in the 8. What's wrong? Is it the fact that he's not good enough, or do you think it's purely positional thing for him?
I wouldn't say he's not good enough, because I think he's still technically gifted to play the role. He just positionally he's just all over the place. He works hard, like he was getting back and making loads of slide tackles. You know, I think there was one counter attack that he even got back for. So I'm not going to question his work rate. I just think the natural balance of the team goes. Because obviously Kamada is another one. He just naturally drifts. Like, you see him everywhere. You know, he's the type of player that actually everyone else needs to have a set structure. He just needs a free role. But we don't play in that style. If we had like a 1, 10 and 2 strikers, then maybe if he was the 10, then he could just roam around. Or if it was Ebbs, he could just roam around and stuff. But I think it would need a formation change for Daichi Kamada to actually thrive.
Well, with Daichi Kamada, we've all seen him thrive when he's moved forwards into that 10 role. Like, do you think that should just be his one and only position, or do you think that maybe we should see what happens if Kamada keeps playing this role and maybe learns a little bit more positionally? Do you think that he should stay in the 10, or do you think maybe keep playing him in the 8 and then he should hopefully learn some positional whereabouts in that position.
Do you know what I think Glasner's thinking? And I could be completely wrong with this, but with Doucouré's fitness so up in the air, that's dropped us to 3 centre midfielders. So I think naturally he's thinking we might as well drop Daichi into that position. And if France is coming back, big if, then he may take that 10 position that Daichi Kamada's playing in. So I don't know. I mean, this time around, I was so desperately, and I'd hold my hands up and say that, listen, I wanted Doucouré back. I so badly want to see a Doucouré in midfield. But for him to get injured as soon as, he was kicked like mad. It wasn't like a hamstring or pull.
I watched it back. Do you know who actually was the one that done him at the end?
He was kicked lumps out of, so it was an unfortunate injury, but look, he needs to just take his time and properly take his time this time. And if it means Christmas, it's Christmas. I don't.
But then devil's advocate to that is then why, in this case, is Jefferson Lerma not starting?
It's a good question.
Because when he came on for Wharton, really and truly, our midfield got better. Always taking Wharton off and putting Lerma on, it made it better. But from what we're hearing is that Glasner said that taking off Wharton was a purely tactical thing and it wasn't actually his fitness whatsoever. Then what was stopping him from leaving Wharton on and putting Lerma alongside him instead of Daichi Kamada? Is that to save himself a sub later on down the line, or what?
I think Glasner was lying. I don't think he was to give away too much regarding Wharton.
I still think he's carrying injury.
Yeah, I think it's definitely fitness. It wasn't tactical. To say that obviously he's struggling with the physicality of it, so was Daichi. Do you understand? So I genuinely think, I think it was a cover up because he's not fit. He's not fit.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that maybe the fitness thing is all the aftermath of his England call up, or what do you think happened?
I mean, look, he joined us in December. I think he played pretty much 90 minutes almost every game, and then went off to England camp, and then came back and went straight into playing for us. So, did he actually get a rest? Who knows, 1 week maybe?
Yeah, 100%.
So, it's not enough.
But in the last few minutes of that first half, we actually started to create something. Nketiah dropped deeper to get the ball. We actually started linking up the play a lot nicer. And then a great ball goes out to, I think Nketiah actually runs out to the left, puts a great ball into Eze, and he just sort of passes it to Onana.
Yeah, so Nketiah passed it to Mitchell, who cut it back. Mm-hmm. And
it's a poor shot.
It was so bad. I've seen it back, and I was like,
My brother is.
It was really bad. And as you look, I think it's only Ericsson tracking back, but he still had enough time to take a touch if he needed to.
Mm-hmm. And I think also, granted, the space that he had in this chance was a lot smaller than the space he had in the second chance, but we'll speak about that one a little bit later. But if you're in that situation, we've seen Eze in that situation against Watford in COVID. He took a touch and blasted it into the net. I think even last season against Bournemouth, I think it was the same chance. He just slapped it first time, laces all the way through it. But this time, even against Liverpool last year, the goal that was exactly the same thing, he blasted it into the net. He didn't pass it. So why did he feel the need to pass it in the net? I thought that a theory that I came up with was maybe when he saw him in front of the goal, he probably thought that the ball was already in the back of the net even before he kicked the ball. He was just a bit too confident with that one, maybe. But literally, anywhere else in the net, or even if you hit it at him, just hit it with some serious power, it could still ricochet in. You never know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I
think Eze needs to play with a little bit more intensity. I think he's a little bit too laid back sometimes.
Yeah. How do we get that intensity back in him? Does he need a rest? I don't know.
I think with Ebbs, you could tell that at the start of that game, the whole team was on it. We started very, very well. The whole team was running. Eze was running with conviction and energy like he had been doing at the end of last season. But that just sort of all dried up when, similar to what you said of Mateta, he wasn't getting the balls through. Passes weren't going to him. Some of his passes were a little bit wayward. Sometimes he'd take someone on and he just wouldn't beat the man. Like, granted, he nutmegged Fernandez and did a few nice little things here and there, but everything that sort of, other than that, I can't remember it actually coming off. And maybe his confidence just dropped the second that he saw that he just couldn't beat a man at his own will, really. So maybe that's something similar to go into it.
Maybe, but then at the same time, he's trying flicks and tricks are not working. Like,
just keep it simple.
Just keep it simple. You know, when it's not working for you, just do the simple things right, and then things will come off.
Mm-hmm. Monty here saying Olise scored a quality goal yesterday. Do you think maybe his lack of intensity is his lack of Michael Olise in this team? Because Chairman actually said this to me the other day, and he said that, remember when Eze was in our team and Zaha got injured, Eze went very, very quiet until Zaha came back. And it's the same thing. When Olise was injured and Eze was the only one, Eze was very, very quiet. But the second he had someone to play with, he stepped it up again. Do you think maybe to get Eze back to his best, maybe we actually need França back in this team?
See, I think he'll be all right with Eddie. It was difficult because Eddie didn't get much of the ball. You know, because Eddie's always tucking in to link up with Ebbs. You know, maybe that's why he should play more centrally. But if he plays as a striker, he can do that link-up play without us losing that positional side on the right-hand side. Mm-hmm. You know, so... and yeah, just on the Olise, my goodness me, he was taking the mick against Bremen.
Well, all I'll say is all these people like Fabrizio and all these tactical people saying Olise has been unlocked at Bayern Munich. Brother,
the disrespect
he's been this good for years. So...
this is what I mean. People don't watch football, man. Leave them.
Trust me. Spiritual here saying, please stop talking about Michael. He's gone. I'm going to support him all the way through. I can't lie to you. If he's done a madness, I'll support him, because I know that when he came, he had no allegiances to Palace, but for someone to be that good, you just got to support him all the way through his career.
Absolutely. I want the best for him, to be honest. I know it's sad that he's gone, but what I didn't want to happen is he moves on and then he does dead. You know what I mean? And this is why, because obviously everyone was such rubbish. So, really happy that he's thriving, man. He's just doing what we know he can do, so it's all good.
And it's nice he's doing it on a huge stage where everyone can notice him. And it's not just us Palace fans chatting crazy. When everyone's thinking we're chatting crazy, and we'll say Olise is world class, and they're sitting there going, "No, Jared Bowen's better." You think if Jared Bowen's sick, he's not Olise, and it's just stuff like that basically. We go into the second half. Changes were made, and we actually changed the game. We actually start playing forwards a little bit more. We're looking a lot more dangerous. Obviously, the substitution of Mateta and the substitution of Wharton for Lerma and Sarr changed the game for us completely. Are you on the move?
I underestimated. No, I was just shutting the door.
How good was Sarr in that second half, and how did he change how he played?
He was brilliant. He just battled for everything. What Mateta wasn't doing, he was doing. Just trying to win headers. Even if he didn't win it, he was just a nuisance. Running channels, linking up play, 1-touch, 2-touch. You know, I honestly think, I know we keep talking about Eddie going in as a striker, but with Sarr, I'm still as confident. If we can start getting him to ball quicker, I think this guy will score some goals for us. He'll score a few goals for us, you know. But I did want to say, I really underestimated how good we were in the second half. When I watched it back, I was like, actually, dominate is a strong word, but we were in control of that second half. Mm-hmm. You know,
we had the better chance of the half.
Yeah, and I think the only chance
in the first half, we were the same in the second.
Yeah, the only chance Man United had, what I believe, was the Garnacho shot that Henderson.
Yeah, that was a long range.
Yeah,
shot.
That's the only thing I could
from Henderson though.
Yeah, good save it. That's the only thing I can recall where we obviously had. You know what? I have to give Onana some credit. That double
great-
save was
great double
crazy.
save.
Like, because I'm thinking in my head, no, Saar scored. Saar did everything right. He tried to loft it over him. I mean, well,
Just tipped it over the bar.
everything right is scoring, obviously, but you know what I mean. It was just an incredible reflex save.
100%. And also the run from Eddie to even get a good shot off as well.
Yeah.
And also it was a good shot because the ball was bouncing on the way. That's why it popped up when Onana saved it. So it was a great chance that was created out of nothing, really. And then it was unfortunate that Eddie got hooks off after that. But I think it was literally a few minutes after that, Saar. Actually, here's a quick question: Did you like the fact that Saar was put up front instead of Eddie, or do you think that you'd still rather Eddie go up front and Saar stay on the wing? Because whenever Saar went up, he always drifted to that right hand side anyway.
Yeah.
So why not just do the natural thing and play Eddie through the middle and then Saar on the right?
Yeah, I think that's what we should do, but Saar's not disgraced us at one bit playing up top.
Oh no, not
You
at
know,
all.
so
He's fighting for everything.
I'm not mad at it. I think we'll get the best out of Eddie if he does play up top, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I think Saar's still good enough to play right wing and get back defensively too. So it's just a little tweak that hopefully we can actually do.
Mm-hmm. And then a little bit later, Saar makes a great run down the outside, gets a ball passed into him. He chops and sends two Man United players to the floor. Nice pass on the inside to Eze, who doesn't even take a touch. He has a shot, but he misses the target. And I was thinking, okay, he's missed the target, but it's not by that much. But then I did also wonder, why is he going near post? And then Rich sent me this image later the next day, because I didn't watch the game back because I was too busy editing, doing stuff like this. But Rich sent me this picture, and I never actually realised how much space Ebbs had on the left-hand side compared to the right-hand side. And bearing in mind, when you see this image, Eze shot at the A gap, and the B gap was clear. There wasn't even a defender in the way of the B gap, and he still missed the target. So, what on earth was he thinking? An easy pass into the bottom left. Even if he went to the right, going top right, try and make it as hard as possible for him to score. But he just misses the target. Like, with that much space inside the box, you've got to be shooting at B, no? Like, I'm no striker, but if I'm playing FIFA, I'm shooting at B all day, every day. Rich, what are you doing? You shooting at B? You got to be.
Yeah, it's called percentages. He's tried to be too cute. He's tried to be way too cute
lack
with
of
this.
intensity again when it comes to Eze.
And so if you put the image back up as well.
Yeah, one sec.
Onana can't even see.
Yeah, he's looking around Martinez just to even see where the ball's going.
He can't even see. So if he just rolls it the other side, even if it was parried, look who's next to Ebbs on his left-hand side.
Hughes
gets a tap in. It's just, why are you trying to be cute? We were already struggling that game. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we definitely would have won the game if that had gone in and stuff, but that could have been a mad snatch and grab. Like, after what happened in the first half, could have taken the lead there. And but it's just so annoying. Look, we're all sitting there, obviously, because where we're sitting, and we're thinking, what's he done? Where's he going that side? It's mental.
Yes, it's a bit crazy, isn't it? But they bring on everyone, don't they? They bring on Rashford, they bring on Højlund, they bring on everyone. They even bring on Ugarte, which is a bit of a strange one. But they bring on absolutely everyone. And our backline and Dean Henderson, they need a special shout out because they were magnificent all game. Apart from Richards' passing, by the way. Rich, how do you think Lacroix grew into this game in the second half specifically? Like, he's a new signing. How do you think he's gelling into the team?
Do you know what it was? I think the moment he knew, yeah, I'm cool here, is when he outpaced Ganacho down the left-hand side. He said, I'm calm. Like, you're not beating me for pace. And then obviously aerially, he's a beast, and now his passes, like reverse passes, like switching play, he's the only one that Mitchell has to shout at him and say, listen, look at what Lukaku's doing, because Lukaku's looking to switch play. You know what I mean? But it's nice to know that he can do it, because obviously it's the one thing we worried about with Anderson being gone, you know. But yeah, he's been really, really good since he settled in. I think once the partnership comes together, now obviously the big question is, does Richards get dropped for Chalobah? Right, and I'm not gonna lie, if we're trying to be playing our stronger side, as much as Richards defensively hasn't done anything wrong, Chalobah's just better. We just got to keep it a spade.
And I think
so
that back line for me would be Gay on the left, Lacroix in the middle, Chalobah on the right.
yeah,
That's what I would do. Talking about our manager really quickly, the substitutions. We all were umming and ahhing about it after the game. And what's your conclusion at the next day? Do you think that it's still the case where it was the sub at the right time but the wrong personnel, or are you seeing it as we thought it was the wrong personnel, but who we brought on for who and how we changed the tactics? Do you think that was key in us getting back into this game?
like we said yesterday, I think the substitutions and the time of them, all of that, not complaint. I still just think, and it's only one personal change I was upset about, because Eddie had just had that shot, and obviously before Sarr missed his chance. If he had done at a time, it was Hughes for Eddie, wasn't it? If he had done Hughes for Kamada and just given Eddie the next 10 minutes, like I said, we were literally on the ascendancy at that moment. You know, we might have got something out of it, because Eddie's always a threat. You know, no matter how he's playing, he's always a threat.
100%. I put the link into the chat, so if people want to jump in, they can. But I think we need to talk about everyone's man and match today. It's Dean Henderson. How much different of a game did he have in this game compared to against Leicester?
He was just quicker off his line this game. In every aspect, he's whacking it into Rose Ed, like heading it out. It was perfect positioning. I'm sure obviously the Dean Kiley and the coaching staff looked at that and said, like, that's the one. Because I think even with the Leicester game, I think that was the one time he got caught, and obviously Vardy scored from it. So, yeah, he's had a blinding game, had a blinder.
And even then, you could even say his double save as well. Like, that could have been part of goal of the season at the end of the year, because the one for Garnacho and then to run back across the face of goal and tip Fernandez is over the bar as well. Like,
it's mad.
He's one of them guys where he'll do something amazing with his hands and then just boot it out under no pressure as well. And you're thinking, my God, this guy is Crystal Palace through and through.
Just a quick pause on that though.
Good pause.
But yeah, someone needs to. I think he just needs 1 week of just kicking practice. Like, just
a week. He needs more than that.
No, but just don't worry about like the saving techniques and stuff. Just kick the ball. Like, just practice that.
Yeah, because if he had that one pass out to Munoz or the pass out to Mitchell, then I don't think you could really be complaining about Henderson at all, really, if you keep playing like that. Tim,
absolutely.
How's it going? Thoughts on that game?
It's good. I mean, it's a horrible first half, and a pretty good second half. I don't know what it is with the Mitchell slander with you guys on the post match with the player ratings, but that I mean, the cutback ball he gives to Ebbs, that's all on Ebbs. That's a brilliant ball. And in the second half, he does get forward quite a bit. In fact, I thought he had a lot more threat than Munoz did. I'm not entirely sure that's all on Munoz, to be honest. Also, Munoz had a lot of problems with Garnacho in that first half. I thought Mitchell, so would you guys give him like you gave Munoz a 6 and Ty a 5? Like, come on. Like,
I can't actually remember. Oh,
I
there's
don't
two of them
know.
now.
But I think that Tyreek had a better game than he got credit for. But I wanted to ask you both quickly, because maybe in the US the TV feed was harder to see. Where did Richards move? You said that Richards and Lacroix switched sides. I didn't see that. What, like, did he go right? Did Richards go right?
Yeah, Richards went right and Lacroix went left, and it happened for like a good 15, 20 minutes, and that was when we was really started to get forward.
Okay.
Because it
Okay.
allowed Lacroix to shift onto his right foot and hit the diag across to Munoz.
Got it. Okay. See, I didn't see that. Of course, I may have just been like asleep for portions of the game, but no, man. I mean, it was really frustrating. That first half was super frustrating. The second half was much better. And again, you said something in the ratings, JC, that I thought was interesting in terms of just your thoughts on the manager. So, and tell me if I have this right. Like, you thought the setup was good, tactics you gave him seemed like a mixed review. Subs were fine, except for the Eddie sub. I thought I guess what I'm defaulting to is I like that we have a manager. Like, maybe I'll put it this way. I think of the 3 points we have, I think a big portion of those 3 points are down to Glasner being willing to be enterprising when the game needed to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was true versus Chelsea. I think it was true. I mean, those first 2 games, I think he got it wrong, but like unbeaten in 5, and I think a fair amount of that is down to Glasner being willing and just having conviction. And I need to change up this game, and I'm changing it up now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that if Glasner turned around in this game and got us a win, for example, or maybe against Leicester, if we come back and we get a win, I'm giving Glasner a 10 because then he's made obviously the right changes and the team's pulled through. But I feel like because it's 0-0, granted it is against Manchester United, and some of it may not actually be his fault whatsoever because we didn't actually get the win. But I don't feel like I can give a manager a 10 rating or even a 9 rating if we don't get a win.
Yeah.
And
that's fair.
The only reason why I give him 1 less than an 8 is just because I still now don't quite understand why Nketiah came off. Because I thought, as Rich said, give him a few more minutes, maybe with Sarr, maybe with Hughes, but in the midfield with Lerma, which is a much more structured and safe midfield, I'd like to say. I feel like Nketiah would have the resources and the ability to actually be a little bit more free roaming up front because he doesn't have to drop so deep to get the ball if we've got a much more stable midfield behind him. That's the only the Hughes sub is the only thing that's knocking it down another place.
I mean, that's fair. And for a few extra minutes, I thought it was legs, because he was working and really not getting a lot. I mean, he had to work to get a little. He had to work to get scraps, and he'd already played 2 90-minute matches, so I didn't have a huge issue with it. But yeah, that's a fair point.
Rich is really showing the retwist from all angles. Well, I know Rich was trying to show it off, but go on, mate. This is your time to shine. Jeez.
that is very nice. Very nice. Very nice. I think the spirit of saying
Thank you.
that Kamada played well. I think Kamada suffers from, let me say it this way, because I think when we signed him, we are signing on a Europa League winner that our manager knows this is going to be amazing. And I have to admit, I was excited too. And up to this point, he has not lived up to those expectations, not even close. But I also think we're hammering him because those expectations were so high. I don't think he plays that well in defensive midfield. I do think you're right about his positioning, but give the man at least a little bit of credit. Like, he was working his socks off yesterday. He won 60% of his tackles, right? Like, he makes 4 crucial interceptions. He's getting back, clogging up the middle. I mean, how many times Bruno did get in on net of once, but the thing that I feared in that match, JC, is like, I don't want Bruno Fernandes to get the ball, turn, and start feeding the wings. That didn't happen all that much. We did get outclassed in the midfield, but this was not a game that Bruno Fernandes ran wild on us, and that was something that I was a little bit nervous about. So, like, is he great? No. Has his performance has been great? No. He's better in the 10. But I think we're killing him a little bit too much.
But aren't all these qualities that you're talking about that he's having in a position where he's out of position? If he's already got these qualities here, if you put him in a 10 where he's actually comfortable, doesn't that then in turn, if he brings all of those attributes into the 10 as well, make him an even better number 10? Which is another reason why I don't understand why Glasner's playing him in the 6 or the 8.
Yeah, and you could also, like, the other counterpoint, JC, is you could say, and I did not see him play at Lazio, but apparently he played this position at Lazio and he was atrocious, is what I've heard. So, like, that's to your point. Like, if he can do that and he has work rate and he can get on the ball and he can be somebody that breaks up play and delivers a ball into the final third, just play him in his right position.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But is that on the manager or is that on the player? I just don't want to kill the player because I think the player is actually pretty decent.
Yeah, I agree. But it makes me a little bit confused because, as you said, in Lazio, he was played at the 8 and he wasn't very good. But Glasner actually played him in Frankfurt and actually knew that he was good in the 10. So that's why I don't quite understand why he's all of a sudden thought he's going to change him. Which is a little bit strange, but, Glasner's one of them managers where we've seen what he can do, and really, I just trust him with whatever he thinks is the best. If he thinks Kamada in the 8 will do for now, while Decore is injured, while Wharton's probably injured as well, if that's the best he can come up with, if he thinks that he could fix his positional sense and can make a good number 8 out of him, then I'll just have to sit here and trust him because I do believe in the project that Glasner could do for us. And if this is, and I think that this is just a temporary thing because we have Chet Decore, because we have Adam Wharton, who are both incredible footballers, but they're both just a little bit injury prone. If this is the countermeasure and Glasner thinks he can get the best out of it, then I'm just going to have to sit here and trust it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Although I have to say I agree with you that I think Hughes and Lerma look good. I think that's a pairing that I would like to see at Everton. I think that actually suit that match quite well.
I agree. I think that Hughes is still the most improved player under Oliver Glasner, and he showed it again when he came on. The game, it's strange to say, but the game changed when Hughes came on. We just felt like we had a lot more control of that midfield.
He is. I wonder what you think of this. When he comes on now, the way he looks now, he's one of the most composed, which is weird because he still loves the yellow. Will Hughes loves the yellow, and
I just said I think it was harsh for him to get that one yellow card.
I do too. I thought, like, what the hell is he supposed to do? He's like he can't really move. I get that by the laws that's a yellow, but there's not a lot he can do about that.
What he was doing.
I know he does. Of course he does, Rich. But
The
there's
thing
not
is,
a
you
He's
have-
an
I don't know if
experienced pro at
I don't
that.
know if it showed it on the TV, but when Ugarte ran into him, he gave the fans one of them. Probably what got him the yellow, actually.
I mean, I love that guy so much, but when he loves the yellow, but otherwise, when he's on the ball, he is very composed.
I agree.
Much more so than he has been in years past.
Yeah.
And I assume that's down to Glasner.
He was never
Because
this composed under Vieira. No way.
no, not at all. And he looks composed. He's looking for a forward pass. He's quite good. And he really pairs nicely with Wharton.
100%.
Can I say something on the Wharton situation though?
Go on,
If
then.
he really isn't fit, Everton is not the game to play him in.
Yeah, agree with that.
You know, if he is fit, then yeah, he has to play because he's the one player that looks forward all the time. But if he's worried about his fitness, play Lerma and Hughes, and if you need to bring him on, bring him on. You know, but yeah, Hughes has definitely improved. But then again, you know, I might just contradict myself. If Hughes starts against Everton, he'll get sent off.
Well, I mean, you hope not, but there's always that chance because like what Mitch says there, I won't repeat it, but like, yeah, I mean, Hughes is that guy. He will do the work that, you know, we need him to do, whatever it is we need him to do. But I have a question for both of you about, so up top, let's say, because I do think Glasner is going to give serious thought to resting JP in that match. Who is the better matchup in the striker position at Everton? Is it Eddie, because he's not a physical match for those center backs, but he is fast. He can absolutely run in behind them, and he could probably turn them inside out. Or is it Sarr, who is much bigger, much more physical, and also has pace? Like, who is the better matchup for Everton?
I would say Eddie up top. Here's why. Because I think Saul will give Mikalenko problems, you know, on the wing. And same with, like, I'm assuming it's going to be Ashley Young. Like, Ebbs has just got to just run at him constantly. So,
And then the centre backs will be Keane and Twarski, which not the fastest guys in the world either.
they're not. So if we, I think we'd have to like knock very low balls into the box. Because I think anything aerially they'll do well. To be fair, they're good at cleaning them up. But then Eddie's movement in the box when it's mad. So just fizz them in. I think this will be a better matchup for Munoz. You know, to get in behind their defense and Mitchell as well. Actually, I think they'll both thrive in this sort of game.
With that as well, I do agree with Rich, and I'd play Nketiah, and I think that one part of Nketiah's game that's very underrated is his hold-up play. I think if he's actually got his back to goal, he's actually very good at shielding the ball. He's very strong on his feet as well, and he's actually decent in the air from what I can see with his Arsenal days as well. Like, he is able to outjump some centre backs. Granted, he's not the tallest guy in the world, but he still scored a few headed goals. Very quick thinking in the box, and he's just a sort of like a poacher kind of striker, and that's something that I feel like Palace have needed ever since really Dwight Gale. Really, I don't think we've had a kind of striker of that like style for so long, and I feel like it's something that we really need. Like Mateta and him, I'd love to see them both play together, but I don't think that'll be the case this season.
Yeah.
Big up Agent Ancelotti. Hopefully Brent. Wait, had he played any minutes yet? I'm hoping he just doesn't play next week. just ease him in, please.
You know what happened? Bramthwaite will come back, and O'Brien will have the game of his life against us.
Has he played any minutes either, O'Brien?
Yeah,
he has. Yeah, didn't he play last weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
He came on to, I think, help them defend, but they scored enough one. I think he got a yellow in like 2 minutes since he came on, which is quite funny, but is what it is. Bramthwaite's played a full 90 in the 21s, so he's getting back into the swing of things. Tim, if who's going to go through the player ratings very quickly, who would have been your man of the match, and what would you have given a very quick rating to the others in our starting 11?
Hendo has to be man of the match, and I think you have to give him an 8. Just going it from back line to front, I think I'd agree with you. I think Richards was fine. I thought he was a 6. I'd agree with Chairman on that. I'd give Mark. I thought Mark was terrific. I would have given him a 7, maybe an 8. Lacroix, I thought he settled nicely. I think it's a little too much to give him a 7, so I probably would have given him a 6. Mitchell, I thought, was terrific. I thought I would give him a 7. Munoz, I thought, had an off game. He looks tired, so I would have given him a 5. Wharton, I would have given a 5. He just did not look on it at all. Let's see. Who's other midfielder? Kamada. I think 5. He's out of position. I do think we kill him a little bit too much. Let's see. Up Ebbs. He misses 2 open chances. Give him a 5. Eddie didn't have a great game. Yeah.
Well, Tim, what's your thoughts on this quickly? Just very quickly before you get onto the rest of the team.
Well, I mean, you can always, I'm not going to kill him but this is one of those games where Ebbs rushes more than he should have. And if he doesn't rush, if he stays composed, he's got 2 more goals. And that is rough. What did I say? Eddie a 5. JP was terrible, but I don't know how much I want to kill him because he didn't get any opportunities. He didn't really get the ball. So 4. And the subs, I thought Sar was exceptional. I mean, is it too high to give him an 8 because he only had a half, but I feel like an 8 just because that guy has been the X factor. He's been brilliant for us. He really has. He's arguably has been one of the best players in this Palace side, and I think he's looking right now like the best signing of the summer. Who else comes in? Hughes comes in. Hughes was very solid. 7. That may be high. Maybe I'll go 6. What subs am I missing, JC?
Schlapp.
You know what? He was not on for very long, but when he was on, he makes that cutback ball. He looked pretty good. I'll give him a 6, but he's on for 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops.
I think that's it. And then you're rating a Glasner.
I'll give him a 7. I thought he. I really like this manager and that he is clear-eyed about the situations we're in, and he tries to affect matches. And he's probably going to have a shocker at some point where he's going to try to affect a match and it's going to go horribly wrong. But you know what? I'll take that.
I would always rather go a few more goals down if there's a chance of us getting back to a draw or a chance of us getting back to a win.
100%. This was the problem I had with, as much as I loved Patrick Vieira as the Palace manager, but when things started to go wrong in his system, he went into his shell, and I think that was the beginning of the end for him as our manager, which really made me sad because I loved him. And I don't see that happening with Glasner, which makes me really encouraged.
Yeah, I feel like Glasner's got a good ego when it comes to being a manager.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he talks about this a lot. You need to stay hungry, humble. You have to put in the work. I think and to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if he thought that JP either couldn't or wouldn't put in the work. I just think JP couldn't. He looked dead. And, yanking him at the half, even though he looked real I mean, you guys probably didn't see it because if you were at the game, but in the U.S. broadcast, they did a shot of him, and it was Curb Your Enthusiasm, JP. He looked unhappy. He did not look happy. But you know what? That's what I want. Like, I do want him to want to be out there.
Mm-hmm. I think the final thing that I'd like to chat about before we actually round up the stream altogether is the image in the thumbnail of Martinez trying to murder Daichi Kamada. Do you think... Okay, one, he got a yellow, but is it one of those ones where, like, potentially you get a red just for the intent of what he did?
Well, okay. Isn't the law that I guess you need to remind me here. How much of the law requires contact? If it requires contact, then a yellow is fine. If the law does not require contact, then he's off because that's criminal, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's, take him off in handcuffs. He tried to commit murder on the pitch there.
No, but they also have a rule about intent.
Yeah, this exactly
he had
what
to go.
Spiritual said. Yeah, like that was. I don't know how you could say that he does not intend to harm when he's going up with 2 feet. He is going to jam his spikes into Kamada's shin or foot, and he's going to break a bone. He's either going to break his ankle or he's going to break his foot. One or the other.
Or both. It's 2 feet.
Or both. Right. Like, I mean, that's a red, isn't it?
The thing is, I don't know if it is, but because I don't know whether there is contact needed, but there is a thing called intent, and I'm sure that he probably should have been sent off for intent as well, and then maybe given I don't know, maybe a ban or what happens there? Because if he's been given this bloody nickname of the Butcher, and for some reason I feel like it makes him feel like he's allowed to make these reckless challenges and get away with it, really.
Well, just because you play for Man United, you do not get to go full Roy Keane whenever you want to. Right? Like you don't just get to do that. Like that's crazy. I didn't like that at all.
Because when you even put this into perspective, like you could also call it like what do you call it? Reckless and endangerment. Some players have been sent off winning the ball,
right?
Just because their foot's too high. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, this morning, it's a different situation, but it's similar in the sense of, like, I don't know if you saw this, but Gibbs White goes in on João Pedro, which makes me happy because I hate that guy, João Pedro. But he goes in and he gets the ball. He does go in hard. It's a hard tackle. I could see how
as well,
but it's a scissor challenge, and that's why it's the yellow. I think that's why it's the yellow. It's because it's the scissors. Like, but that's one where he gets the ball and he still gets the yellow and gets sent off. So it's, to your point, Rich, it's like, I know he gets the ball, but he still goes in with the scissors challenge. That's a yellow. You're off.
Well, really and truly, a scissor challenge is a red card most of the time as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Right. So, like, I don't know. Inconsistencies.
Yeah, and they won't talk about it because Man United.
Right.
Facts. There'll be a still image, and I'll say, "Oh, it's a bit reckless." Oh well.
Right.
Anyway, and they didn't even talk about us on Match of the Day, so pagans as always.
They did. I didn't check to see how much they talked about us.
I don't even think the word Crystal Palace even left their mouth once after they said who the match actually was.
Yeah, I mean, it's always if there's a Man United didn't win, it's a total meltdown on ESPN, and I was like, I'm too tired. I don't want to watch the Man United meltdown, so I just didn't.
Yeah.
But I thought, I mean, I know you got to end the stream. 5 unbeaten, right? So that's 5 unbeaten. So do you think I feel like a clean sheet is something we can build on going into Everton.
Oh yeah, you know what? That's our first clean sheet.
So actually, second, we had the clean sheet against Norwich, but it's the clean
Oh, yeah.
sheet. It's first clean sheet in the league, and I mean, the defense had been. I mean, I think we can say terrible, coming into this match, and in that second half, the center backs got tighter, it got better, and Hoyland, Rashford, and Garnacho were nowhere in that second half. There was nothing. And I thought both Richards and Lacroix pushing up on both of them to intercept the ball, turn it over, and get us going into the attacking half, I thought was terrific. It was really good to see. So hopefully, like, yeah, we're gonna get our defense back and start building.
Mm-hmm. And it's sort of, I don't know. I'm looking forward to the Everton game. Obviously, I've never been to Goodison before, and it's the last time at Goodison as well. So good thing we're going before they get rid of that stadium. But this is definitely
just on that note,
to build off
JC,
of.
we've been told off about McDonald's, so we need to stop.
Why?
Have you seen the comments?
Who?
Who
was it?
It was anonymous tip saying they care about your health, so no more McDonald's. I just personally, for me, JC, I think it's great. And also, I think it's amazing that you have a food review where the McDonald's, bun is dry. I'm like, you must have amazing McDonald's burgers in the UK, because the fact that it's sometimes not dry is incredible. Like, how do you get premium McDonald's in the UK?
You've come to the UK then, brother.
Yes. I think it's amazing.
And then Tim goes, no McDonald's store. And then I worry for the boys' health, and the man of Chambers, it should not be eating McDonald's.
I mean, the chairman's my age, and I eat McDonald's from time to time. Where's the concern for me? No, I don't eat McDonald's that much.
Well, I don't know if Anonymous Tips is going to be happy, but there's the return of
the race shot.
The shot review. No, it's going to be a different shot. I'm going to get something different.
Oh, it's not going to be the Ray?
No, that's still traveling with us. But for the shot review, I'll just get something small. Like, those little... Yeah. If
it's Glenn's, I'm throwing it out the window. I'm just saying that now. Because Glenn's can get in the bin. But... Pat, that is a mad pause. Have you seen what you just put? Pat, that is a mad pause. Oh man, this stream has gone left.
End the stream, Dave.
Oh, thank you very much for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. And as always, up the palace.
Up the palace.